working with two different kits from BeebeeCraft today. The first one is this set where I have taken a black bead out of it, and so you'll need two of those. And then this kit, which is a seed bead kit, I am using a white bead out of the one that has like an eye on it, and the black seed beads. And then this kit also comes with the threading. So I cut off a length of that, and that's what I have in front of me here. Now, before I begin, I want to show you, oh, and also from that kit, this kit, the seed bead kit, I took out a crimp that looks like this. Now, they're gold in the kit, and I want it to be silver, so I'm using a chrome paint marker, and I'm just going over the gold parts, and I'm going to set that aside to dry. It's going to take some time to dry because we're painting onto a non-porous surface. So you only really need to paint the outside. I know the inside is gold as well, but once we close the crimp, you won't see it. And we may need to touch this up once it is in place on our earring. So I have that set aside drying, and just to show you how this looks is this is the dangled earring we're going to be making, and there is the silver crimp. So if you have a silver crimp, that's great. I did not, so I had to color mine. All right, so to begin, we're going to take a length of the clear cord, and I just cut off a random amount, but I would say about 8 inches is going to be enough, and we'll have excess from this. So to begin, we're going to take our eyeball bead and thread it onto our cord. Now for this project, you don't need a needle. The threading cord works just fine, like so. And then you just want to place it into the center of your wire. And then from here, you're going to start adding black seed beads. That one just got away from me. But you're going to start adding black seed beads to your cord. And you're going to do it on both sides, but we're going to just start with one. And unfortunately, I can't tell you how many you're going to need because they vary in thickness. All right, so what we want to do is just put enough on here so that it's going to wrap around our center bead. So as I do this, I will just show you that. So what's going to happen here is this cord is going to wrap around the bead and go in the hole on the opposite end. So I can see here that I need at least 1 or 2 more seed beads. All right, so this is just, I'll tell you, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 seed beads on mine. And to get a good sense of really how that's going to look, you kind of have to go back into the eyeball bead and pull up and pull tight and see how that fits. And that actually fits really well, those 6 seed beads. All right, so now I'm just going to hang on to that side and start with my other length, and I'll just start adding in 6 beads. All right, so I have my 6 beads on there, and I'm going to wrap around that bead in the center. Just working on getting a hold of everything here to show you. And then I'm going to go back through that center bead. Now I'm using this eyeball bead from the kit, but this is a great pattern for any kind of bead where if you have a larger and some seed beads. I mean, you could do metallic in the center. You know, you're going to get a different look. It's going to be more elegant with a different kind of bead. All right, so this is what we have so far. All right, and you can see that there's a gap at the top and the bottom of the bead. So I'm going to take whichever cord is longer and add one more seed bead onto it. All right, and then I'm going to go up and through that center bead again. And that gets my cords all to the same side. Now this is the last cord that we need to send through that center bead. And on the first one, I didn't have trouble with it. On this one, it seems to be a little tight for me. So I'm going to pull those other cords, try to pull them out of the way, pull them tight, and see if I can get this to travel through. There we go. All right. And so you can see now, as I pull tightly on these cords, that one seed bead there closes up the gap on the bottom. And I just want to pull tightly on these and make sure that everything is as tight as it can be around this center. All right, and then you can see I still have a gap at the top. So once again, I'm going to take my longer cord and grab one more seed bead. And add it to the center of those two. And then what I'm going to do here, if you can see, I am going to take each of the cords and go into the seed bead that's next to it. All right, so I'm moving this cord off and into this seed bead here on the side. I'll tell you, I just lost my seed bead that I just added. That's okay, we'll come back to it. But I never had trouble with the first one. And this one is giving me a little bit of a fit to get these to go through. Probably because I am recording. It really isn't this problematic to get that cord to, there we go. All right, so I got that one through. I'm going to add my seed bead back on to this one. All right, and then can you see? All right, so now I'm going to go through this seed bead over here. And I have to tell you that the trouble I'm having is, like I said, I didn't have it on the first earring, and because I'm trying to do this on camera and a little bit further away from me, I seem to be struggling a little bit more. Goodness. Okay. All right, there we go. So now what we have is a perfect circle of seed beads going around our center bead. And then we take our 2 cords here. I'm going to even them up just because this one has some dents in it. All right. And then I'm going to take my larger bead and I'm going to thread this onto both cords and pull it down. And what we want is a bit of a space between the drop and this black one. And we're going to want to also make sure it's the same distance as our other earring. All right, so I need to just pull that down a little bit. Actually laying them down next to each other might help. All right, there we go. All right, so this is where I want it to sit. Now I'm going to have to hold on to that tight because as I now take my crimp bead, which hopefully is dry, I'm going to thread both cords through the crimp bead. And it's still a little sticky. I'm pulling off some of the color, so I know I'm going to have to touch it up. I can see, I don't know, can you see it on my thumb? So now what I want to do is make sure I'm at the same spot again. And I want to now tie some knots. And with this, I go around twice. All right, so you've got a simple knot here. But before I pull it tight, I'm going to go back around that one more time. So I am looping one cord around twice before I'm going to pull tight. I hope that makes sense. And I'll tell you, this cord is just fighting me today. Okay, so now I've got it down here. Once again, this is crucial to make sure you've got it in the right place. Okay, I want to hold this tight as I pull this knot because this knot can make us move. Okay, and before I go any further, just going to check to make sure we're pretty darn close. Okay, and I can pull it a little bit tighter if I need to tighten things up. I'm going to get these seed beads out of here so you can see the comparison. This is kind of a dainty earring. And I can see already that I had one side kind of longer than the other. So I just want to take some time here as I tie that first knot to make sure everything's even. And now I just tie one more knot. I mean, you can tie as many as you want, but I felt that slip on me a little bit, so I just want to double check again. I think we're still okay. All right, and then holding on to those cords, I am now just going to crimp this bead shut. All right, so that knot is encased inside the crimp bead. All right, and just to begin, I'm going to just push it with my fingers And then I am using a crimping tool, but really a pair of pliers would work just fine. All right, and then now that that bead is in there, you can trim these ends off. All right, and then I'm just going to take some flat nose pliers here, and you can, I don't know if you can see on the side here, it's still open a little bit. So I just want to get that closer together at the top if I can. And if you need to flatten out your crimp, you can do that. And mine just slipped on me a little bit from side to side, so I want to line things up again. All right. And then I just need to put it on my ear wire. Now to open up my ear wire here, I am going to grab a hold and just twist. All right, I'm not pulling it open, I'm just twisting. And then I'm going to slip this on and twist that back closed again. All right. Now some ear wires, because their wire has been manipulated and it is a bit hard, it may break if you manipulate it too much. So now you can see my crimp bead, and I just want to touch it up a little bit more with my chrome marker now that we have it in place. And I'm pulling my black bead away from it because I don't want to get the chrome color on my black bead. All right, but now I can see, I can push that bead back up there. So there are my two dangled earrings.